Hey everyone, welcome back. It's my time where I play Planet Zoo, and today we are already back here in the magical forest behind the waterfalls. And last time I built all of this, so I'm really happy about it, honestly. There is a few things that I think maybe in a later video we will go in and fix. But at this point, I feel like I don't really get the wow effect I want. I want when you get out of this. This should be wonderful to get into, but the magic should first start here because the bat was supposed to be our warning signs. So they will, for instance, fly out. One of them will fly out up here and warn everyone that someone is on their way and they can stop them before they get out here. So that's the idea. But for now, I think we should start building something a little magical, honestly. And I feel like we could do that simply by making a little, I think, like hobbit homes around here. And I think we're gonna build that for this skunk at this point. Again, I want to customize for everyone here, but I feel like we will have a little flower field here, and then the mountain will bend over and then hobbit home. I think, I hope, I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but I hope it's gonna work perfectly. And with that, we are ready to move in our first moving around animal. So the thing is, I think I'm gonna make a habitat for the home so they are always home, but also make the same animal in a version that can move around the rest of the area, if that makes sense to you. So you can visit them at their home and you can see them around at the same time. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. So yeah, let's get into it. And as you can see, I started with a hard cut because I built something I didn't like, so I started over, but I kept the door. The door is the door pieces that comes with the Twilight pack, so if you don't have that, then it's why you haven't seen this before. And then I just tried to find the right color of wood, but I ended up using this and then just recolor it as this very pale light color. Basically because I wanted it to seem very natural, but I also needed to be pulled apart from the dirt and the ground above it. So therefore I wanted this contrast so it's very light. I couldn't make the door exactly as I wanted. You will see me try here and I will succeed afterwards, but you're gonna see why I couldn't make it the way I would normally. I'm not sure what happens with this door. Every time I try to turn it around, it turns weirdly. So it doesn't turn exactly on the X I ask it to. So you can see here it was flat against the wall and now it's clearly not flat anymore. And I tried a couple of times, but I just ended up reassembling it on the ground. And then yeah, that was what I had to work with from there. And then I actually reused a technique I used on Santa's sleigh. Yeah, I didn't think I ever would be doing that again, especially because it took so much time. But it goes by a lot faster here. I did think about using the mud pillar technique, but I didn't know how to place it exactly in the middle. So I wanted this middle edge around the door and the same middle edge around the door frame, or inside the door frame, so it match. And since it is a completely half round the top here, it should be able to make this mud pillar technique work, but I can't. You can see it every time I try to turn it, it turned on the wrong axis. So I had to be a little more creative than that. If I sound a little weird, a little tired or something like that, there's no reason for concern. If you follow my video, you know I have mental issues and normally therefore I sleep at weird times of the day, but I couldn't sleep at all last night because both because I was really looking forward to this DLC, but also just because of my mental issues. So therefore I didn't sleep at all, and now it's 1 a.m. Recording this, so therefore if I sound a little off, that's why. However, I know I won't be able to sleep again before I finish this video, so we take 24 hours without sleep, why not? Who needs sleep? I'm 29, I think, so I can sleep when I get old. My grandma always said that, so we lost her here in the spring, so we actually thought about putting on her stone that now she has time to sleep, because she never slept. You could visit her in the middle of the night or the middle of the day, it didn't matter, she never slept. She was always doing stuff. Most wonderful lady in the world, really. Anyway, we are done here with the metal piece, and as you can see here, I reused the same piece actually as a door knob. A lot of the things in here will be wrong size. I would love it to be the right size, all of that, but basically it's a skunk and we don't have that many small pieces. So we're gonna imagine that the skunks are bigger. Gonna imagine that. And again, we are in the magical forest, so anything can happen. So I hope you are with me for that. And here you can see I can just copy it over here and then double it because the frame is thicker than the door here. So we just do that as well and move that over there. And then we just take the top part here, and then these rounded door frames actually aren't round. I have never noticed that before today, but as you can see, it has these straight parts and then just these small corners. The corners doesn't bend that much, that's why it looks rounded, but I know it's not an important piece, it's just something that, yeah, it's gonna frustrate me because when I see it, I can unsee it, and I'm sorry if you're the same way, and it's gonna frustrate you also now. I'm sorry about that, but it's just one of those weirder things that I don't see why they couldn't make them round, and I don't see why when they gave us these door pieces, they couldn't give us any door frames that fits. But again, that's Frontier for you, because have we ever gotten a door that matched the size of a door frame? I don't think so. So here you can see I map out another door frame, and it's actually gonna be the secret entrance. So in game, I'm gonna imagine that it would be like a back road. Again, skunks doesn't actually prefer to fight, they prefer to run always, so I feel like they would have like a back door where they can escape out through the mountain. In off game, in game, out of game, you know what I mean. In real life here, I'm gonna use it to as a habitat door. Gonna hit that in here, and then the keepers can go for the quarantine area and where they have food to make and all of that, and right up here. And that's actually, it works perfectly, but it took a long time to build that tunnel system. So I kind of cut that out, basically, because you don't want to. You will feel like you waste your time, so there will be a cut there. And as you can see, this video is already a bit longer than usual, and that's because, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's the DLC here that got this magical effect over me that just make me want to build. I feel more it's the magical theme of it. But here you can see what I actually intended to do with doors. So I wanted this glass piece, tinted glass over it. But I couldn't do that with an open door. I tend to have the, what's it called? The door on the front of the house. Front door, of course. I wanted that to be open so the skunks can go in and out. Again, the door is a little heavy for them. So I want that to stay open, and therefore I wouldn't be able to put that glass piece because we don't have a cutter. I want a cutter in this game, but we are probably never gonna get one. Anyway, now this little piece you can see here through the wall, don't worry, we will cover that without issues. I personally think I got the best solution for it, but again, probably other YouTubers or other Planet Zoo players would have done something completely different, but this is my build, so this is what I want to build, basically. Here I actually used a new tool, and it's actually works really fine. Normally I could do this with just the square one, but here I use so much less time on just trying to fix the edges and make it seem natural. Here it was so fast. And then I use these grass pieces up here to mark where I actually want the roof. So you can see I have a roof downstairs that's only gonna be the underside of that roof that I'm gonna use. So up here it will be completely covered at all times. But I needed a buffer in between because, as you know, it's hard to get the terrain above something when you need a really clean cut of it. It's very, very difficult to get, so instead I made this middle space to give the terrain some thing in between there. Yeah. Anyway, if you hear a scream or anything like that at a point, it's probably just me, because it is fall, so it's easier for cats to catch the mouse now than it is the rest of the year. And besides that, my male cat Neo, he have this crazy idea where he thinks that I'm starving, so I need to learn how to catch my own food. So he bring the mice inside, and then he give it to me. Sometimes they're alive, sometimes they're dead, sometimes they're half alive, and I'm not a fan. I have to say, I'm not a fan, really. But today I got one, and he just hold on to it until I get close, and then he lets go and just look at me. And then I try to, first it ran over my TV thing, the TV stands on, where we got it out, and he likes to hunt it with me, but he's not gonna hunt it for me. So basically, me crawling around the floor trying to catch it, and I think it's under my bed, but it's like I have a centimeter under my bed, so I can't even look in there. According to my cat, there is some sounds in there, so if it comes out at any time, it's probably gonna scare the shit out of me. I have tried before sitting and recording something and a mouse just ran over my foot. I have two cats, they're both perfectly good hunters, but they apparently really want me to have the excitement of catching my own food for some weird reason. Yeah, if you hear anything weird, it's just that, and it's just one of those days. Anyway, now it's covered the weird thing from the roof with this little shed, and of course every little cottage needs its own shed. I think it's called shed. To have your stuff out there. Of course, I'm gonna make this beautiful garden, because ever since I saw Bambi, I feel like skunks really like flowers. So we're gonna make this beautiful little garden outside, so they would have to need a place for all of their tools. And here we actually saw the skunk, so you can see how small it is compared to this building. So I make some places where they can actually climb up, and the rest of the places we're gonna imagine that they fit nicely. We're just gonna imagine that. And again, if you are a skunk, you may still want a bigger house, so you actually are able to invite your bigger friends over. I'm a small person, but I don't like to live in a little apartment. I want a fucking house. I live in my parents' house, but I don't think just because you're small you want to live somewhere small, basically. It's a thought I have, I'm not sure, but I think so. So here you can see I start to make a floor plan, and we're actually only gonna make one bedroom, but we're gonna make it in 2 sections, and then we're gonna have a kitchen, what's it called, kitchen all room. I'm not sure what it's called, you know, the kitchen and the living room and dining room in one. I'm not sure what it's called in English. But in here, it's the kids part we're building here. So I want these kind of bunk beds, because me and my brother had one that when we were small, and it's actually, I really liked having that. I always complained about it, but looking back on it, I think it was a really nice thing to have with your sibling for a time that I'm glad I didn't have to when I was a teenager. I loved getting my own room, but I think it did something good for our relationship, learning to live that close with another person for a time. But yeah, you can see we built the parents' bed in the other end here, so it's only the 1 bedroom, but we can't, I feel like it could be separated, but it just didn't make sense in such a small building to have too many walls. So the bed in here, we're gonna make a big bed. Basically, it's gonna be way too big, but yeah, we're gonna go with it. Then I wanted to find a pillow. Where's the pillow? We have this beautiful little, it's too pretty, the pillow we have in the game. I would like to have a less pretty pillow. And it's actually not the first time I have been looking for pillows, but now we have pillows. We didn't have that when I did my I made in Future Life Africa. I made this place where you could rent for the night and stay the night in this cottage above the lion habitat, so you could wake up hearing their sounds and all of that. And then there we didn't have a pillow. However, that we have that now, but we still don't have a what's it called? The thing you pull over yourself when you sleep. So I gonna use these. I use the blankie for the parents, but it's too big for the small ones, so they got these sacks instead. Then I wanted to make a kitchen out here. I think a kitchen is one of the basics. I didn't make a bathroom this time, but I feel like that could be implied behind the door. And again, I keep building in this same, pretty much 2 material here. We have the wall pieces and these pillar pieces, and it's just to have it all cohesive. I don't want too many different designs through such a small house. If I made a castle, I would want the rooms to be different from each other, but here I really want it to be very cohesive, if I can. So here I made a I'm not sure what's it called. And I'm not sure every house have it nowadays, but we do. Actually, we are unable to go out there at this point because the floor disappeared. Because that's a thing that happens in our house apparently. Um, but it's where you store all your food that can be stored for a long time. So it would be like apples, it would be like everything in a jar, it can be canned food and all of this. So it's everything that lasts for a long time you can store in here without a fridge or anything like that. And every house needed to have one earlier because it was the only way to actually store food. Nowadays we have a lot of different opportunities, and you also have the luxury of being able to buy new food every single day. Back in the old days, you would maybe get to a store like once a week, maybe every other week, depending on where you lived. But especially if you lived in a magical forest a long way from society, you may not be able to go out and shop every single day. So here I'm gonna do something I wanted to do for a long time, since the first time I actually saw this. This piece, I think it is from the faux rock pack. I thought it was, but apparently not, because I'm not having any mods on my computer at this time. So I'm not sure where it comes from, but it looks like a what's it called, the fire thing. Yeah, you can probably see already now what I'm building here. So we're gonna get the sparks and the fires going in there, and at the same time the leg you can see on the wall would probably just be a mount of some kind. And then I saw this and I don't think I ever used it because honestly just not a fan of the design in a normal zoo, but for this it was perfect. Then up here we're gonna put a lot of jars, and then we're gonna put a basket here so we can bring water inside. Then we are gonna, basically I'm just gonna pull everything out at this point. It's the point where I'm just looking at everything because I'm not sure what I'm doing. And then we're gonna put in a lot of fruit here. The ladder here, I imagine that it's one of those you can push backwards and forwards, so you can reach in behind it easily, and you can reach the entire shelf while climbing the ladder. That would make it ton of easier. Then I have this piece, and I love this piece, but I rarely use it because it is limited what you actually can do with it. And I actually don't think I ever seen anyone else use it. I have used it as like a at my helipad in Future Life Africa, but I haven't used it since, and I'm pretty sure I never seen anyone else use it. Then I wanted to bring a little more nature in here, so we're gonna use this as a pot. And I thought about putting like something tall and then something small in here to kind of build it up. But I did something completely different instead. So I actually I think I tried every single tree, every plant that could be in here, and nothing just seems right. So instead I ended up using the little tree here. And it's pretty much covered it all, both up and down, so I didn't really need anything else there, I think. And I actually don't see, before now, I didn't notice that it's off center. But I actually like it a little bit because you wouldn't be able to control how a plant grows, so it is realistic that it would be off centered. Then in here I thought about making like a sofa. It didn't work exactly as you can see here, so instead we're gonna get a dining room table. And then I think it's time to put the door in, and as I said, it needed to be open. So our dear friends are able to get in and out. I actually thought about trying to make a doggy door in it. But I thought that would be a little weird again, using a doggy door in your own door. So instead we're gonna make this tiny fence, and again, if you make a zoo, this fence won't be enough. I have escape turned off, so every time they just move outside of the habitat, they will magically just being moved back to the gate to the habitat in these boxes. So it's not an issue, but I see a lot of boxes basically. This fence simply isn't enough to keep them inside, especially since I lowered it that much. And then I try to figure out how to make it look pretty with the pathing from over here. You're not gonna see it how I do it, because I'm made only a temporary solution when it comes to guests. So now guests are actually able to come in. I call them guests. Again, it would be like other humanoid persons that belong in the magical forest. Again, that would be wizard, warlocks, vampires, succubus, werewolves, and so on. So they would be allowed to come in, but not normal humans like you and me. But to get humans in here, I have made something temporarily, so I didn't want to waste your time by showing it, but I'm just telling you, I did something. Basically, just placed a spawn place outside the waterfall, so now they can get in here. And then I actually also made a other spawn place. Actually the main entrance that was already here, but I connected it to the other spawnway, so it would take a long time for half the guests to arrive all the way over here, because I got too many guests in here at once. I limited to 500, but 500 is still a lot when you only have a cave and a little house, so therefore I did that. Yeah, now you can see the garden. Yeah, I placed the plate here on the floor because I'm I'm not sure it would work otherwise, and the burrow are gonna be moved. I move it out in the end of the garden so no one can see it, because it seems weird to have it here. Basically, I just needed somewhere to put it down to make the game work better. Then I built a little sandbox, but again, I don't have my sand mud at this time, so it will be added later. So for now, we're just gonna use the sand, and then I put the food enrichment in here also, so it looks like toys, so the babies could sit and play with it here. And the garden itself is actually inspired by my mom's friend. She always, from I was a little girl, I always loved her garden. Like, we all always had like a play garden. We had a bit piece of grass, we could run around, we could play soccer, we could play with water, we could do whatever we wanted in the garden, but the garden was boring. My mom's friend, when we were over there, it was like a magical. I honestly felt like it was magical. She always had these beautiful multi-level gardens. I'm not gonna make that many levels here. I feel like this build is already a bit long. But maybe that part I'm gonna use in another video here. But with these bluish, purplish, pinkish colors, with both bushes and plants and trees and flowers, and it all working together, and it's just grow into each other, very purposeful, and it's beautiful. So props to Lone for always having such a beautiful garden. She probably never gonna hear this, but yeah, it inspired me to do this. I haven't seen it for years, but I'm pretty sure it's still beautiful. And because of all that, I actually does this what you should never do with a habitat, where I use a lot of these different sized bushes to kind of hit the garden a little bit away from other people, which a lot of people don't want. You don't have here a back garden and a front garden, you only have one garden. So you don't want people to be able to stare into your garden, whatever you're doing in there. You want a little bit of privacy. So therefore I use these different level of bushes to kind of block that off a little bit, but still make it look open and inviting. And I think I got the what's it called, the balance there. And this is probably when I could have ended the video, but I wanted this inspired Hobbit house, and basically that includes the roof. Even though the roof isn't a part of the house or the garden, it's still a big part of this storyline with the house built into the little hill here. So therefore it was so important. And I went for a few things. So I wanted to build up the levels. I did the same here in Pinewood Zoo, but you won't see that before the last or the habitat or the final zoo tour, so it may take a while. But this is where I build up levels to make the entire horizon look more longer and bigger and just more everything. And then still we can also use the plants to blend out the front of this rooftop part. It didn't go the best with the terrain up here, so the flowers here helps a lot. And I'm not going for a specific biome or a specific what's it called, a specific part of the world. It is a temperature in Asia. However, all of these flowers would probably be magical hidden flowers that only bloom here. So therefore I can do whatever I want, basically. We have a climber on the roof. I didn't see that before. But again, it's their own roof, so if they want to climb on it, they can. That's just so cute. Sorry, I'm not sure why I love skunks so much. I'm a little surprised by the size of them. I actually thought they were more like badger size, but again, the badgers in the game is also a little bit small, so it may fit compared to that. So here you can see with these beautiful flowers, we're also gonna do the same, and then we're gonna mesh them in with the other a little bit. So we get these patches of color. So the sun side will have the pink color, and the shadow side will have the purplish bluish flowers instead. Anyway guys, it's time for cinematic, so please enjoy, and I will come back. Okay guys, so this is where I'm going to leave you. I don't think I got that complete arch in the top of the house, which a hobbit house would have, but I think I got away with a lot of stuff. I had a lot of cool details in here, if I may say so myself, and I really like that. Anyway guys, I don't want to talk your ear off anymore. Remember, all of this week will be speed builds and no mods. Maybe mods next week, that depends on the modders, basically. But anyway guys, until tomorrow, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye guys!